All right, thank you guys so much for coming tonight. We are gonna open this meeting. It is 5:37 p.m. I don't need a motion to start this. We're just gonna get it going. It's Wednesday, August 28th, 5:38 p.m. And we are gonna start out on our agenda with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we can please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome, thank you. All right, so before we get going with the OSRP update, Brian, do you want to take time to review this before we vote the meeting minutes in? We can always push it to the next meeting.
It's actually look quickly while we do this. You want to do it after?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and I'll push the discuss setting up an info tent at Oktoberfest to after you guys do your
I have it
presentation.
kind of smushed in the middle.
Do you?
If you want, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Let me see. Aaron here. Liz. And Rhiannon. Right. R-H-I-A-N. And I'm sorry, was it Jeff? Jason. Okay. Awesome. And Paul is here from Conservation Commission too as well.
No longer.
Just kidding. He's Board of Selectmen. Wrong commission. He's on Board of Selectmen.
But now a funding source.
Yes. Just kidding. Nobody from Conservation here. Okay. I'm going to give the floor over to you, Rhiannon, right? And let you guys take it going.
Great. So the first few slides are just a recap of some of the foundations of our open space plan and Old Colony Planning Council. So just again, these are the 17 communities. You guys are about our furthest north community, just slanted.
Oh, yeah.
And we do all sorts of projects outside of this. Jason's working on housing production plans right now. We just finished a few master plans, and then outside of our department, OCPC is responsible for transportation studies and area agency on aging, mapping, economic development, anything that might fit under planning. We probably have somebody who's done something on it.
Nice.
And the open space and recreation plan, again, just to keep with the original outline, it's a roadmap for prioritizing open space and recreation projects that the town wishes to move forward with over the next 7 or more years. It's a prerequisite for the Mass Division of Conservation Service grants. That includes the Park Grant, PARC, and the Land Grant. Park is used to update parks, and Land Grant is used to purchase land that can be used for recreation moving forward. And then it's importantly a public process, which we'll get into today, how the public has been involved and how we'll keep them involved moving forward. And then this is sort of kind of a list of the chapters that go into the plan. It's available online. There's a workbook for open space and recreation plans, and I just like to stress that we have to follow it to get them passed.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes people read them and they get frustrated with the order because not everybody's, we all like to organize things differently, and I get it, and I get that it can be frustrating, but I tell you, like, I promise you I'm writing it in the order that gets it passed. So I just like to put that out as a disclaimer that, yeah, there are certain things in here I would order differently too, and I'm sorry.
No.
But that's just formality, just because you guys are going to start reading chapters soon, and I'm also writing them out of order, which I'll get into later.
Okay.
And then just for the purpose of the state plan, open space is a really broad term. These are all the things it covers: conservation, forested, agricultural, athletic fields, playgrounds, small pocket parks. So any green spaces that probably have a little historic plaque on it can be considered a pocket park.
Okay.
Green buffers along roadways and or undeveloped land that is of conservation and recreation interest that can be already in possession or something that the town's looking to acquire. And then goals for today. First one is to review the timeline. I made a few edits and then I'm gonna talk about big dreamy dreams I have to shrink the timeline, but we'll keep it spread out for realistic purposes so I don't feel bad if my big dreamy dreams don't come true. And then we'll take a look at the website and talk about outreach materials. We'll talk about the ADA assessment and writing and any other next steps we have.
Awesome.
Anybody have any questions about anything before I jump in?
Not that me, no?
Awesome. So my timeline's a little cut off, but it started in August. So just kind of like a where we're at. We did our kickoff meeting, which is great. We went over the analysis of the survey last time. We talked a little bit about previous goals. Since we met, I did get a website up and running as of a week ago. I'll share that with you guys today.
Awesome.
And we're in our current steering committee meeting, and we'll talk about public events and promotion. ADA self-assessments are a little behind where I thought we'd be right now. I was out sick most of July, so when I thought I was going to get a head start on them, that did not happen. But Jason and I went out with our supervisor, Lori, last week, and we did not finish the Island Grove assessment, but we used it to kind of walk around and see what we should be looking for. She's done these a bunch of times, and we're relatively new to the process, so we used all the different elements that Island Grove has to kind of give us a grand overview of what the ADA assessment looks like. Moving forward, I have section 3 completed. I passed it off to the planning board just to answer a few questions that I had to make sure I didn't miss any important work that's been going on with the town. Section 3 we start with because it's demographic and like layout of the town. It doesn't require like vast public input or any real outreach behind it, even though you guys have already done the survey, but we're not going to want to really write about any goals until we have that first true public meeting. Okay. So we start with section 3, which is like demographic, layout, what watersheds you fall under. So as soon as I get that back from Kevin, I'll pass it on to you guys to proofread and tell me which commas I missed or what I wrote that sounds weird to you, or if there's something that we missed. You'll have full opportunity to go through and mark up my writing. Okay. And I encourage it. My English teacher in college would tell you I'm not great at commas, so please look.
Proofreader.
He's put a lot of commas in my writing. And then I'm working on section 4 already while I'm waiting on that update. That's your environmental analysis. Again, this is really digging through all the state's data. It's your soil types, water quality, basically a compilation of all the state's recordings for the town. Also, we'll look at Massachusetts historical sites, but these are all things that really have to be pulled on my end just to gather and update that information since the last plan. So all relatively straightforward stuff. And then after we have the first public meeting, I'll start sections 6 and 2, which will kind of be outlining the goals. And then kind of continues to follow through in an odd pattern, but 8 and 9 finalizes how we want to implement those goals moving forward. So I put those towards the end, and then we end with section 1 because section 1 is a high review summary of the plan, which I obviously can't write until we do 2 through 9. So again, just to clarify why I have them all in such a weird order, but we'll talk about big dreamy dreams. So you guys are way ahead of the game in terms of the fact that the survey has already been completed and analyzed. I am also anxious because the survey is completed and analyzed about it being like timed out. So I want the approval, like this September would bring us to like 1 year of last fall. So I'd like to be submitting late spring. So that way it's like, it's not 2 years old, it's only 18 months old, and like try to like avoid any arguing with the state that it's lost its relevance.
Okay.
I think it's doable. I am in between grant sessions right now, so I'm like loading all my work into this, trying to get this ahead of the game before I have way more things to juggle. So it'll probably look like this is getting done really fast, and then it'll slow down in the winter just for a realistic
workloads.
Overview,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, understood.
I don't usually have 35 hours a week to work on 1 or 2 projects, but it's been really refreshing. I've really enjoyed that. So, but overall, this is great. I think the timeline. Also, there's no guarantee that they would say if we submitted in August that it's outdated. I just have seen it happen, and I don't want it to happen to you guys because it stalls
Okay.
getting even a temporary approval. Because even if they come back with edits and you have conditional approval, you can start applying for grants and start working on the goals. You don't have to wait for final.
Okay.
So we just want to get you in that stage as soon as possible, and then if I have to go back and forth with the state, so be it. We'll
Yeah.
get it to where it needs to be.
Okay, okay.
It's just not always a fun process at the end, so I just want to warn you guys now, so you can't say, I didn't tell you, you didn't know.
Oh, I'm in a hazard mitigation. I know.
I want to do them, and every time I bring them up, people are like, don't do that to yourself.
Don't torture yourself.
So,
Straight up.
I will find other hobbies. Hazard mitigation
Yeah,
might not
so-
be it. So if I click on the link, is it going to get mad at me? Do we know?
No, you should be okay.
Okay. So I'm going to jump to the website if it'll let me.
If not,
Oh, I clicked all the things.
whoops.
I promised I wouldn't break it, and then I broke it. I'm sorry. I don't want to touch anything.
Do you mind if I ask you something while we're getting that fixed back up?
Absolutely.
No, it's only vaguely related, but his old colony planning council, would they like advise or consult towns to like set up their own GIS systems? Or that's not really in like the scope of what you guys do?
It's not in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's not really in our wheelhouse because we don't have like the data packages. to,
Okay,
like,
I
help
saw
you set
that
it
on
up.
there, and I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure
So-
if that was something you guys have involvement with.
Andrew is our GIS manager, so he can help with mapping projects. Like if you guys are writing your own project and you need a series of maps that go with it, we can do like those types of scope projects, but in terms of taking over the service yourself, he might know of other
We
towns
don't
that
have the
done
money
it.
to do that.
No,
Because- Yeah, we'd have to hire somebody, like a GIS mapper person.
So should I try to click the link again, or should I not?
Can you? Yeah,
Hang on.
why not?
It looks great. I'm
I
on
think
it
if
on
you
my,
do-
on my website. On
Okay.
my
If you hit
laptop.
control before you click.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I think I
hit
did
control and then the
control,
little
yeah.
handle come up.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've talked about that.
It's delayed, and
for,
I'm scared I'm gonna hit it too many times.
Yeah, it's a good
It's okay.
resource for like citizens and
Right.
learn
There's
about land and
Actual
land use and stuff
ways
like
the
that.
state has a ton of websites you can do that.
Mm.
Mass Mapper is a great
Yeah.
resource for that. So if you go on Mass Mapper, and
Some
actually,
towns
I
do
think
that, no.
Conservation is
Go
gonna
back
do
to
a
the
mass, did they do the
website.
Mass Mapper training? No, it's in September, right?
To be determined.
TBD, it got
Now
kicked
click
down the road again? Okay. Check their agendas, because they're gonna host a Mass Mapper training session,
And the only other thing I can
conservationists.
suggest is if
And then you could
right
tune
click-
That's
into
okay
that
if
or
you can't,
watch the
don't-
replay.
Okay.
don't worry about
Or
it,
go
yeah.
to the meeting and figure out.
Leave the link,
Mm.
What
because you
you're
sent us
looking
the deck
for and how to
electronically,
get
so
there.
we can look at it.
Lynn's very
You
good
go to
at
the
it.
meeting and she can actually guide you through how to do it for what you guys need.
Yeah.
If you right click on it,
She's gonna
say
use the
open
big
link.
board in the other room and go
Okay,
through
cool.
and do it, yeah.
No, it did that.
I'm also doing a grad program.
I wonder
at
if you're in
PSU
here, if
GIS
it'll,
mapping.
if you go to
Oh,
it
nice.
from this
Starting
view, if you
next
go
month.
to it,
Mm.
Wow,
if it'll.
Just for fun.
let
I
you-
mean, it
And
at least
if it has
can't jump on
relevance
me,
here,
right?
so.
thank you. That's not my idea of fun, so God bless you.
Okay,
Until anyone knows doing
Nope,
MBTA.
that's all right. It
committees
looks
and
beautiful from what
they're
you've
like,
done.
oh, we need shape files, and I'm like,
Welcome.
I need shape files. I did ask downstairs, but whatever,
The project
softwares
timeline's
weren't
great
working
too.
together or whatever. And
Nice
then
snapshot.
I submit the whole thing to the state, and they kick back, oh no, we changed
Thank
the way you need to submit your shape files.
Okay.
Like 2 weeks after, 2 weeks before.
And it's for
I
every
sent it.
property in town.
Come on.
So anyway,
So we can't click on the link, but I sent it out. So you guys can take a look at it. If there's anything that you see that you want to change, let me know. The only thing I know I need to add right away is, Nikki, if you could send me just a list of all the steering committee members' names. I'll make a blurb about like what a steering committee is and list you all. Your name, I'm not all your contact information because we don't need to get carried away.
when you're all done with that, if you send it to me, I'll send it to the person who manages our website, and she can
Link it.
link it up
That would be
to
perfect.
your page.
Now, would the steering committee include people from other boards and departments and everything?
No, you guys.
Steering committee is
Just
just,
Okay.
yeah.
Just
I am gonna meet with other boards and committees. I'm waiting till it's winter and I don't wanna be outside in the evening selfishly. But,
All our names are on the Open Space Committee webpage for Abington.
oh,
so you can
perfect. I
grab
can
it
just
from there,
grab
too.
them from there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if that's, I mean, if you just want me to email you a compiled list, I'm happy to do that too, but to Brian's point, it is all on
Yeah,
the.
I can just grab it from the
Okay,
site. That's
okay.
fine.
Thanks, Brian.
So
Yep.
the other thing is, I know you guys have talked about tabling at fall activities. OCPC can make the flyers. I can have them all ready to go and I can drop them off. Then you guys can table with them.
That would be great.
So it'll kind of have us, I usually do like a snapshot of what you saw on the website. So it'll have our contact information, the plan, maybe like a sentence about what an open space plan is. And then we try to do some type of call to action. So your survey's already done. So I would suggest if we could book a first meeting before you table for Oktoberfest.
Okay.
That way we can be like, here, great, take the flyer, come back in a month for
Okay.
our meeting. They have something.
So set it for like a end of October, November, because Oktoberfest is the first weekend in October. So set it for 3
Yeah,
to
like
4 weeks post.
first week of November would probably
Okay.
be most ideal.
I would bump it a little further out because November 5th is
Wow.
the
The
election.
election, yeah.
Okay.
So do it,
I would do it maybe
After
the
the
weekend after
election.
that, or like any day after that, kind of.
okay. So
Because
we'll
I'm not
say-
sure what spaces are available.
Yeah,
all
great,
the
yeah, that's a good
voting.
call.
What dance
Okay.
halls will be in
All right,
for all of
so,
this.
Plan a public. And then that way, we'll book that, we'll get that, we'll discuss that tonight, get that done, that way you'll have it for the flyers.
Yeah,
and
once I
then-
have date and location, I'll work with Elise and admin and we'll put together a flyer.
Okay.
It can QR code to the website, we can write about the event. And then I'll also make you guys like a generic email sign up list. When we did the Survey Monkey, people are able to put their emails in. If anybody else isn't on that list and wants to add it, they can write their email in. I'll just merge it right into that list.
Okay.
Then I can send out reminders about the events.
Awesome.
And I'll pass any graphics to you because I know you guys have all those great social media and the app and
Yep,
everything.
I can
so.
push them out. And then the other thing I was gonna say is, I don't know how quickly you wanna do any of this, but we have, the primary is next week. We have a special
September
election, September 21st.
Mhm.
So any of those events too, we can hand it out. They have tables for public information in and out of voting, so.
You'd
we
be amazed how many towns are against that.
Really?
Yeah, they usually refuse to let us put out information.
Jeez.
Okay.
So
Really?
that's huge, so then we need that like ASAP.
Yeah, if you're able to, if not, I mean, you guys have so many great resources,
Yeah.
and you had a really great survey response, so we'll email blast it.
Okay.
So don't panic if it doesn't happen, but if
Yeah.
it does, I mean, it takes me like 2 days to turn around a flyer.
Okay.
So don't
Liz,
worry about that.
Yeah, I'm thinking the 21st one, we definitely could
Right.
have it for.
Yeah, if you don't have it for next Tuesday, that's okay.
Yeah.
But the 21st.
We
should
may,
be
we
okay.
may. We'll see what, at least these
Yeah.
guys say tonight, so, okay.
Just-
All right, that's,
And definitely November 5th.
yes, for sure. Okay, cool.
All right. I will jump from here. So, again, steering committee kickoff we did tonight. Perfect. We started reviewing the previous plan, and then I've been going through chapter by chapter as I'm doing the writing and taking the old plan, adding any new requirements to it, and updating the information. And the website is up. I will keep adding stuff to that. So I'll post like the first meeting information after the first public meeting's done. All the data we drop there, I upload right to the website, so anybody who couldn't access it can. I don't like to do it before because then I feel like people don't feel like they have to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to feel like they should come and participate because there's so much better conversations when there's more people. Not too many people, but more people.
Yeah.
And then just things that are coming up. So the steering committee, you guys will get to review chapter 3 shortly.
Okay.
I'm working on chapter 4 already. And then I wanted to talk about ADA assessments
Mhm.
because I know that there was some interest of people coming out to participate.
Yeah.
So I brought, just so you guys could see how anticlimactic my job is.
Well, I got mine in my car, I should get it.
I brought a clipboard of the 8 pages that you have to fill out for every single site we do for an ADA assessment for you to flip through, and they have to be handwritten.
Okay.
So, just, you're gonna look at it and be like, but not every playground has a lake.
You sure this isn't Mass Historical?
Can you believe that
Can you
people could
print or
possibly
you do it
edit a
in
PDF?
The grade of
I want to
walking
get like a
trails.
typewriter and just put it in just to really like prove a point of how far back we could really go with this technology. But I am still compiling like all the sites that we have to go to because playgrounds and athletic fields are a yes, but they're also under the school department, so I need to check and see which ones the state does require us to go to.
Okay.
So I'm still making a list. There's like Ames Knoll, we technically don't have to go to because it's owned by the state.
Yeah.
I would still suggest that we do it because it is like one of the
Yeah.
biggest assets of the town. And also, if we discover that it probably is an ADA nightmare, we can tell the state like, hey, we used your tool to do an ADA assessment on your land, and guess what? You failed your own test, like they usually do. I'll never be hired by the state if this goes live. But I think that one would be a good one. Island Grove, the Arnold Park, that's the name, I think, and
Yeah,
then
that's
there
the
was
one,
a few others that were like obvious, but I know if there's certain parcels of land that are not, that are owned by the town and can be relatively easily publicly accessed that conservation has trails on, we have to do an ADA assessment.
And street playground's another one.
Okay, put that one down just in case.
They're actually just working on input from the community for equipment and stuff like that. They have some CPC money.
Okay, so that's being led by CPC then? Or is there like a Friends of
Park and Rec.
Park and Rec? Okay.
Yep.
So Rhiannon, once you get the complete ADA list, then we can figure out how to divide and conquer.
Okay.
Is that,
Yeah, I can do some of them on my own, and then we can also figure out which ones people are actually interested in doing too, because it is a good experience.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll make a list and send it out, and then you guys can let me know with your schedules what works. And
Okay, okay.
we can figure it out from there. Would like to have them all done before we run out of nice weather,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really hard to see if a trail's wide enough in the snow.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's 5 of us, so I mean,
Yeah.
even if all 5 of us can hit just one location, fill all that out, and then kind of go from there.
yeah, that would be awesome.
What about the rail trail?
I was just gonna ask about that. Yeah, is that state or town? Because it's
And it's cross towns.
Yeah, we'd have to stop at Rockland because we're not responsible past that.
Yeah.
And I don't know who did it. It's beautiful. It's all paved. It's
Mm.
It is
paved.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It goes all the way, up to Hanover, through Hanover.
Hanover.
Yeah.
It's just a little sliver in Abington, right? It's not much.
it's probably solid miles.
Goes
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I guess I
Monroe
misunderstood where the
to-
town line was.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I forget what
Monroe to,
Spring? No, not Spring
street
Street.
is that in Rockland? But you come out by
The senior
of
center,
Rockland,
right, yeah.
And then you cross over.
Okay.
Highland?
Yeah, I know. So it's
It's
almost to
Highland
the senior
Street.
center is Abington.
It doesn't go that way.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
No, it-
exactly follow the train
Patterson
tracks.
Street.
It kind of goes a little more.
You
Oh,
come in
you're
off of
talking,
Charles Street,
you're
Monroe
thinking the
Street?
old train, I mean, the current train tracks? Are you thinking the current train tracks?
I think he's thinking of that, and this is
Yeah,
off
this
of
is
that.
old train
Yeah.
tracks that they turned into a trail.
Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about. I've gone walking on that a lot.
Oh.
I just didn't know where the Abington-Rockland town line was. I guess I assumed it
It
was.
go-
So the
Close to
line
it
is
really is.
before you hit
But
the
it's
Rockland.
right before the
that
senior
road,
center, I
Rockland.
think,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
1,000 feet up when you cross over Charles Street, going towards Rockland.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha, I didn't realize where
The
the line
town
was
line, yeah,
relative to
yeah.
the
Right
trail.
before you see the Rockland Golf Course on your right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an awesome trail, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so nice. Okay. Complete list, then we can. Do we think, do we have an estimate in our minds of how many properties will be?
I'm thinking like
Gauging.
10.
Okay, okay.
I don't think it'll be too much.
Yeah, because I mean, at least if we can take half off your plate, I think
Yeah,
that'll
that would
probably
be great.
good.
And even, I mean, there's also like, if you go out there and you're like, I don't know, that's okay. Like, I don't mind
Yeah.
going out afterwards and like taking a look at it. I know
Mhm.
it's all for the most part straightforward. But I'm sure there's gonna be like tricky things when you're looking at a trail and you're like, I don't know, how accessible is this? But like even if you can just take a picture of what you're having a question about and send it to me,
Okay.
that would be great.
Should we bring like measuring tape?
Measuring tape's the only thing
Yeah.
you really need.
Okay.
There's technically, you can use an incline measure tool.
Nope, don't know what that
To
is.
test the grade of a.
To test the grade,
Okay.
it's, the grades are so significant, it's pretty obvious. Like, you can look at something and be like, could I get a wheelchair up that? And like 9 times out of
Gotcha.
10, the answer is
Okay,
no.
okay.
Like, if you're noticing a grade difference, the answer is probably no.
Yeah. Okay.
We do have tools though, and I am happy to meet up with everybody and we
Okay.
can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And I'm also happy to meet up with people too. If you guys have time, or I don't mind. I'll come in late if it means I get to come in. I'll stay late if it means I get to come in late. So we can work something out if you give me a heads up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'd be interested in maybe following you when you do one, so to see what it is before
Yeah.
we do one on our own, something
Maybe
like
we
that.
can like pick a date that works for most people, and then
Yeah.
we can conquer and divide.
That would be, yeah, that would be good.
That's a great
That would
idea.
be
That's a
great.
really
That's
good
kind of
idea.
what we did internally.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, Lori, when can we all tag along with you? And you can tell us what to look for, and make
Yeah.
note of that. And then the only other thing that I had in mind that I didn't like specifically write down was like, I've been thinking of ideas for layout for the first public meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a like in-depth review, like I did the first time, of what an open space plan is.
Yeah.
I think it would be good if I did like a snapshot of like some of the important takeaways of the survey.
Yep.
I try to show over and over again that like we really are pushing the input.
Mhm.
There's so many things that like we have to hit for state standards.
Yeah.
So I do want to like put any emphasis on where we can really meet community needs. And then just based on our short trip to the 2 parks that we went to look at and conversations we had in the first meeting, I know that there like is a lot of park updates people want.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe I could make like posters with like each major park. People could write what they'd like to see changed.
Yeah.
I could do like a picture in the middle, something. I try to find different ways to keep it interactive, and I know like where parks are such an area where you guys are seeking to update.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be great. And then town forest, I didn't know. You guys already kind of have a general idea of where you were thinking for it, right?
Yeah, we have a general idea. I think we have to sit down and kind of nail it down.
Okay.
And say like, this is the area we're really thinking, or we could give 2 options.
Right. So if there's any input you want to get flushed out, I think that would be a really great time to do. You guys will obviously, as you keep moving forward with that project, host other meetings, but if
Mhm.
there's any immediate feedback you're looking for,
Okay.
just keep in mind for early November if there's any input you want. I mean, we can even keep it simple to like, what are the benefits
Yeah.
of having a town
one.
forest,
Yeah.
and how do you think it would impact your use of land in town?
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if we had a question like that on the survey. Like, do you think a town forest is even necessary
I
to
feel like
begin
we
with?
added one.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
I thought we did. I'll look and see if I can
Yeah, I can go back and double check.
find it too.
But other than that, I think that's it. Unless you guys have any other
Okay.
questions or updates or worries.
Not yet. I mean, I've been keeping an eye on the back and forth with Kevin, right?
Yeah. He
Is-
sent me back everything that I think I need so far, so
Okay.
that is just, I'm
What
sure
the
you saw
parcel
how many
is?
parcels it is, so
Yeah.
it's gonna take me a long time to divvy that up.
Understood. I mean, and I didn't know if you needed any input from us or any help from us with regards to that stuff. I mean, I don't have any expertise, but.
Yeah, once I get it sorted and organized to like the right categories, I can definitely pass back a draft to all of you if you want to put in. There's a column that we usually do, but I'm happy to take any input for recreational opportunities on a site.
Okay.
So existing, and then if there's anything that isn't being done there that could be done there. So like if the parcels that are probably going to be town forest are identified, we could be like hiking, creating community benches
Yeah.
and tables and
That would be perfect.
that
Okay.
sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it was only two parcels that we're looking at,
Okay.
right? Or was it, did we narrow it down to Thompson's Pond?
It's always nice when the parcels are large. Because
Mhm.
sometimes it's like, oh, that should only be one parcel, and then you open it in a map, and it's like divvied into like
Yeah,
all these weird
multiple.
fragment lines, and you're like, oh, just kidding.
All right,
So-
we'll narrow that down.
And it's obviously a lengthy process, like to take on a project like that. So I don't want like your committee to feel rushed for it to be a part of this project. Wherever you're at is how we'll write it.
Yeah.
And like where we'll continue the goal from there. So
Okay, no, that's great. Yeah, I think honestly, we're only at the place of where would be a good option for a town forest
Yeah.
if the community wants to move forward with that. And I think we've narrowed it down to two areas at least. So we'll get that information
Awesome.
to you because I think that would be good to be added to that.
yeah, I think that would be
Those
a really good
parcels.
opportunity. I'm excited about the project. So anything
Okay.
we can do to tie it back in, but that's it for me, unless there's anything else from any of you.
Yeah, actually, I had one more question, just going
Absolutely.
back to the ADA accessibility. So would trails pretty much need to be gravelled or paved to be ADA accessible, just due to like tree roots and rocks and stuff like that?
There's a few different crushed materials that can be compact that are considered ADA accessible that are still technically natural and not paved. But like you're saying, like most trails that you go on are dirt and there's like disrupted tree roots. And then if there's to the point that like you can't use a wheelchair or somebody who's impaired is going to struggle to get over it, that's when it becomes an issue. But there is like the state has a list of materials that you can use. And that's specifically important when you're using like park grant money because you have to, if you want
Yeah,
to
that was
use
gonna
it,
be my next question.
if you want to use it to also fund parking, you have to keep it a natural ADA accessible material when you're looking at park grants. So you want like continuation. I mean, the reality is that it's a lot of money and it's really about like prioritizing what's the most accessible spaces to folks and how can we expand on that accessibility. Like where is there regular transportation to? There's going to be
Yeah.
like pieces of trails that are landlocked that just
that
realistically
aren't
they're not
gonna-
priority
Right,
ADA
right.
projects just because of the amount of funding that goes
Yeah.
into it. So this is really a way of making an inventory of where to prioritize. That was a really long roundabout way to answer your question. Does
No,
that
I
answer your
appreciate it.
question?
No, that was perfect.
Okay.
And accessibility is defined rather broad, so it's also like deaf and blind and, and looking at Island Grove with the swimming area. Could a child who has sort of like mobility challenges or some sort of like challenge sort of like use that? Are there lifts
Yeah,
available?
right.
Is there playground equipment that's sort of like suitable for children with sort of, mobility needs or challenges? And so, I grew up, my grandmother was in a wheelchair her entire life, so I have a very particular view and perspective when it comes to ADA, and I'm a frequent user of Island Grove. So when we used that one as our first model, it was instantly like, no. Because, other than the bridge area, if you park on the street of the bridge side, if you're in a wheelchair, you could use the bridge, but then you have to stop at the stairs.
Right, right.
And that's probably the only part of Island that is essentially ADA accessible. To the question around tape measures, like parking spaces. How many parking spaces are there? What is the width of those parking spaces? Is there enough room for a van door to open and a ramp to so there's a lot that kind of goes
With it, yeah. Okay.
I can send out the ADA checklist is compiled inside the open space and recreation workbook. I can send you guys a copy of it's public access. I'll send you the workbook.
Okay.
And then I also like separated the PDF part that is the checklist, so it's
The
easier
8
to print and look
pages,
at. So
yeah.
I can send over both documents, and then if you want to
Okay.
pass them out to everybody,
Yeah.
that way you have like the inside view. And obviously, I didn't expect everybody to read through 8 pages line by line. That 5-minute pass of
No, but high level, it's a lot of information to.
It's a
to-
lot, yeah, and a lot of it is going to get crossed through, right? Like very few places are going to have water access, so that cuts out a page. But
Gotcha, okay.
we're mandated to bring the full checklist and score it on site.
Okay.
So
Yeah, toilets, water fountains, those sort of things.
Okay. Okay.
Name's Noel.
yeah, no, just like a line. It's just like no through the center. Yeah.
No.
But I'll finish working out that inventory list of spots that I think are the definite ones.
Okay.
And then I can maybe pitch some dates and you guys can bounce back if any of them are good.
Yeah, that
Or-
works.
I mean, you guys choose Wednesday evenings because that's when you're most available for the most part. Like if we,
Yeah, it's, honestly, we only do it, we set it as like the last Wednesday of the month, just
Okay.
because it's kind of like, you know that night you need to have the commitment, you
Okay.
know? But, I mean, I think we can all be flexible.
Okay.
on If you have other nights that are better, if all of us can't make it, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we can work it out.
Well, yeah, then I'll finish compiling the list early next week and send out some dates so we
Okay.
can take it from there.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you
That's
all.
perfect. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for the update and sharing and coming all the way over here.
It is such a short trip. It's so nice.
Because you're in
Well, it was-
Abington, right?
No, it was
Oh.
10 minutes for me. I'm in Whitman.
Oh, Whitman, okay,
Yeah, next
okay.
door.
I'm on the Whitman line, so I know where you're at. I'm right on 58. Oh,
It
that's
took me
fun.
longer to turn onto the street from 18 than it did for me to actually drive here.
Same. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And yeah, we'll wrap up the stuff that's on our agenda while you guys are taking off. And then, anything we have in terms of knowing, town forest properties and getting dates and times, we'll get that over to Liz like ASAP so we can get everything
Awesome.
printed and put out there for the public, so.
Yeah.
Okay, great. If you need to get by me, I can scooch.
I'll take whatever electronic versions. you
Liz,
have.
thank you very much.
You're welcome, and send them out too.
Perfect, yeah.
Thank you to, that's okay, to our social media person. You guys have a great night.
Yeah, Aaron. We still have to finish our meeting. Thank you, Rhiannon. You too, thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Good to
See you, Paul. This won't take too long, 'cause I can.
Mug. Is that
Oh,
what it is?
Liz! Sorry, I didn't mean to yell in your ear. Liz, you forgot your mug. Your mug.
Oh,
Your-
thank you.
Your Stanley. or
I
non-
know, right? I can't leave without her.
No.
Ah,
All right. Well, I'm glad you came because I knew Roberta wasn't going to be here tonight. She had already told me, but I never heard anything from Mark. Shame on me for not sending out a reminder, but I figured we have
Yeah.
it on the calendar.
First day of school for the kids
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
Just probably
I
got lost in the
just,
shuffle.
well, I mean, we didn't have one last month, so it was like, we need to have one, and typically, in my mind, the last Wednesday of the month works. If it doesn't work for you guys, we can like readjust and decide if there's a better, night and time.
Yeah, I gotta rush over the soccer practice for the little one, but I think we should be fine.
Okay, I have a hard stop at 6:30. I know Brian usually does too.
Yeah, I'm good
so-
today, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, which is
Great.
fine. So we'll be done in the next 15. All right, the meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second it.
Okay. Approve, the meeting notes are approved. And
Nikki, before we go on from that, did you last meeting approve the ones from before that I did? This is back to
We-
April, I think.
vote to approve 529 meeting minutes. Were you not, you weren't at the last meeting? Roberta was, and I think she took the notes. Let me see.
I missed the June meeting, but I sent in the minutes from, I think it was April before that. Just want to make sure they're good, and then I'll
You
send them to
did.
the library and get them
No,
on the
we
website.
didn't. I looked over them. I was fine with them. Aaron, did you have a chance to look at them?
Yeah, I
Okay.
thought that was.
All right, so then you want a motion?
I'll motion to approve them.
I will second, because you wrote them. I
Yep.
don't know if you can.
Yeah, I don't know if I
Yeah.
can or not.
Okay, so meeting notes from 4/24 are approved. Okay. That was the meeting notes. All right, so let's discuss, and I'm sorry I don't print out the agenda. I'll try to start doing that in the future. But what we've got on here tonight is discuss setting up an info tent at Oktoberfest. So based on the conversation we just had with Rhiannon, if we can nail down a date, and a location for the public hearing that we want to have, then they can fill out the flyers, have them available for at least the 21st election, that special election, and then have them for November. And then we would have the meeting. And they can start pushing out there, like on the Abington town website and OCPC website. Let me look at, and the reason I say that is because Oktoberfest is also something where we could have those flyers at. I don't know if you guys are available that weekend, if anyone's gonna be going, if anyone, I'll send an email to the board to see if we can just set up a table somewhere, even if it's only one of the days, to at least like put those flyers out. Or I'm gonna see Ken Coyle tonight. And I could see if I could just have a table with any Abington banner on it, and we can put those flyers there for people to take, just like information. So we would have the opportunity on the September 21st, October 5th, 4th, 5th, or 6th, and then at the election. And that would give, basically over the 3 months, time for people to be aware of this public hearing, and then we have the public hearing. Does that work?
Yeah.
You guys good with that?
And I wouldn't mind probably even going to, I think it'd be good to talk to people about what their thoughts are on open space in the town. And I'd be curious to even see, because I think before we did the survey, I want to say it was maybe like April or May. And I think people have different thoughts even depending on the time of year,
Yeah.
or what they like to see from the town.
Well, and, if we want to have a table there, all 3 days, we can. If we want to be there one of the days, or even just for a couple of hours on one of the days, we can do that too. I know I'm away that Saturday.
When aren't you away?
I know. That's the perk of having no children. I can go away whenever I want.
I'm around that weekend. I can't commit to the whole weekend because I've got grad classes again to do, so.
Yeah, I'm around that weekend. I'm just not around Saturday, so I can do I can like man the table on Friday or Sunday. I'm just not available on Saturday.
Or we could maybe even figure out like when there's like a major event there that might be, just like the best time for us to
have that. Okay.
Yeah, I think we could figure out like maybe a couple windows of like 2 hours each where it makes sense from a pedestrian
like
traffic standpoint.
Yeah, foot traffic.
And then we can just divvy up who's
Yeah, that
available
works.
for which of those. I'm not that familiar with the event though, so I don't know what those windows would be.
Yeah, it's. I can send an email to you guys. I think the biggest thing is, first of all, we need to figure out a date and a location that we're gonna have this public hearing. I would imagine we can have it in there. I don't know how many people will actually show up, knowing that nobody shows up for this meeting. So I don't know if maybe we just do it in the Cotter room, and you can fit enough people in there. Selectmen are in that room every Monday, right, or every other Monday.
We could also consider the senior center. I feel like they do a lot of stuff like that there.
Oh, that's a great idea. Senior center.
I think you might get more people potentially if they see it's a location. It's not where meetings are held every single week.
All the time.
You might
yeah.
give it a little more prominence potentially.
Like the senior center, or you recommend something
The senior,
else?
no, I'd just be like if it's at a town hall meeting room, like, oh, well, there's a selectmen meet there every week or every other
Right.
week, versus if we had it somewhere different, it's gonna draw more attention to it. I also would hate to have a situation where we do get a big crowd, we can't fit them in the room.
Right,
So.
right. Okay. Senior center location is a great idea. Okay. It's a senior center, and then let's look at some dates.
Does that work for a television aspect? Can you guys go on the remote like that? Okay.
Can't go live,
Yeah,
but then again, we're not live here anyway.
Yeah, you just record. Yeah, because the last there was a candidates night that was held at the senior center, and AbKim recorded it. So, okay, let's see. Let's look at some dates in November. So the election's on the 5th. Would we want to try to do it that week, the same week as the election, or maybe the week after, like the week of the 11th?
I would think the week after, only because if the election is probably in a big notification point, and people will be more likely to maybe fit into the schedules, so they have at least a week's notice.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good call, okay. Okay, so I think we probably have to just find out what the schedule is at the senior center, if they have events, any events going on, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe Thursday, the 14th. Do Thursdays work for you guys?
Yeah.
I can make it work, yeah. I mean, I usually play hockey on Thursdays, but
Okay. Well, we could do Wednesday. Is Wednesday work for you?
yeah, we can do Thursday, whatever works.
You
It's fine.
sure?
Yeah, I'm fine with any day that week. Monday of that week is Veterans Day, so we probably should stay away from that.
Right. I might be away. Okay, so maybe we look at, why don't I say to the senior center, because we don't want to push it the week after that, because then you're getting into, oh no,
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving's the week of the 28th. So maybe I'll give the senior center, or I'll say to Liz, can you find out from the senior center the week of the 11th and the week of the 18th, what they have for availability at, should we say like 7 p.m.? Or should we say 6:30? Is 6:30 tight if you're having to come out of the city?
Yeah, I think 7 would be better to get a broader
Yeah.
potential range of people.
Okay, and let's say week of November 11th or 18th, 7 p.m. Please advise best night available. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna email Liz this. And then we can go from there. That's kind of the domino that's gonna lead everything else with getting the Oktoberfest thing out. Because if we can't nail that down before we get the flyers, then, although she said the flyers should be fairly quick, so. I'll talk to Ken tonight. I'll email Liz. Once I have answers from both of them, then I'll email all of you guys and we'll figure out, how we're best gonna tackle the Oktoberfest stuff. I think at the election, it's just gonna be a table is gonna be sitting there. And then at both elections. Okay, all right, so that's the Oktoberfest thing. We discussed project analysis and OSRP. This was with, Jason was with that as well. ADA, we'll figure that out once she emails. We'll get some dates and parse that out. And then we had future discussions, work with AHS graphic design. I know we're still kind of talking through that.
Yeah, I need to circle back to the teacher once. I'm gonna give her a week or two into the school year, at least
Yeah.
before I follow up again.
I was gonna say, I think we were waiting for school to start
Yeah.
and give them a few weeks.
Right.
So I think if we I'll keep that on the agenda for the next meeting we have.
Yeah.
And then if you're able to hear back from, if you reach out maybe the week before the meeting.
Yep.
We'll have a better idea. You can let us know.
One thing did relate to that Rihanna had talked about today. Maybe we use the ADA assessment list as the list of properties that we include in this. 'Cause-
Include in the graphic design
Yeah,
photography?
for-
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
that, at least we've got a professional who's saying these are the most important, outside view, these are the most important properties in town.
Yeah.
So it's not an overwhelming list for high school students to look
Yeah.
at, and we can always add to it
Mhm.
in the future if we
Yeah.
want to. But
I'm down with that. I think that's a great idea.
Cool.
Okay, so use ADA list of properties.
And that should work out well timing wise. We'll get that list around the time when we want to do this. So
For AHS.
I think what we're still, at least what I'm still thinking with that is we'll have the high school students work on taking pictures of these areas and sort of just record basic amenities that are available, and then we can turn that into a directory type listing on the website.
Yeah, I
to draw
love
attention
that.
to it.
Okay. And that's perfect, because like you said, it narrows down exactly.
Yeah, I was struggling with what to myself figure out. I looked at the list you had sent around back over the summer, there was the property list. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's way too in the weeds for high
Yeah,
school
yeah.
students to know what any of those properties even are. So,
Yeah, even if we end up taking top 5,
yeah,
you know,
Yep.
from that list that she gives us, if we do top 5.
Yeah.
I think that should be, okay. All right, so we'll discuss that next meeting, I'll keep that on here. And then reorg of positions, obviously we can't do this without the other 2 folks here.
right.
But we do, at the next meeting, we need to go through a reorg of chairperson, vice chair, and secretary. And then I think Roberta was okay staying vice chair if she needs to stay in a seat. I'm definitely ready for a rotation. So we can figure that out with Mark on, with you on. We'll figure that out at the next meeting. And then our next meeting date is September 25th. Wednesday, September 25th. Okay, and then that's at 5:30 p.m. All right, anything else you guys want to bring up, chat about before we head out?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah,
You
good. No, it's great to see some awesome progress on the open space plan.
It feels like what we've been doing for the last 3 years is actually coming to fruition now. So even seeing that timeline out to, what was it? September of 25. It's like, all right, we're almost there. It literally has almost taken 5 years, October 25. Almost 5 years to get this thing done.
Yeah, when did the last one expire? And we thought, oh, we can get it before this one
October
expires.
2015. We're coming up literally on 10 years.
Wow.
So, or that's when it was published. So, I mean, this one's gonna be 5 years out of date by the time we commission the next one. So, all right, any motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, we are adjourned.